Orlando comes to BMO tomorrow. Their coach is already on the record, and the 2027 free agent list just dropped. So enough setup. Let's preview the actual game. If you're just joining, Angel City limped into the restart at 4-6-1, sitting 12th, 4 points behind 8th place Orlando. That July 3rd date at BMO was always the hinge, the chance to turn a crowded playoff race into something you can actually manage.
This is Angel City Daily. Tonight, Seb Hines gave us something to work with, from injury clues to the front line Orlando may or may not have. And the free agent list turns tomorrow into a roster conversation too. The setup's done. Let's get into it.
From the mainland.
Finally, we looked ahead to the Angel City match late Friday night in California. The Pride will be playing their third consecutive California-based team while looking to make it 3 straight. Meanwhile, Angel City will be playing its first game under a new manager. We look at the team's places in the standings, provide our key matchups, and give you our score predictions.
Seb Hines went on SkoPurp ahead of Friday, and it's a rare thing. The opposing coach talking shop out loud before he flies to BMO. He got into the injury situation, the transfer window, even floated Corey Dyke at striker.
Wait, Dyke at striker? If Orlando's improvising up top because bodies are thin, that changes how we read their front line for Friday.
That's the tell I'm listening for. Hines has called the injury situation genuinely rough this season, so I'm wondering whether he goes conservative on the road or tries to hit us in transition late.
That's the swing game we circled. Orlando at BMO, Angel City's first match under the new manager. 2 teams retooling, 1 playoff spot everybody wants.
New manager, new shape, and a late-game pattern I don't love. We coughed up stoppage time goals to this exact Orlando side in April. If Hines is hinting at a late press, that's the seam to watch. Celia Balfe at Goal.com has the details. This Goal.com piece is a league-wide scan. San Diego on top, Racing Louisville trying to climb out. But for tomorrow, the line to pull out is the returnee talk around Sam Kerr, Kat Macario, and Lindsey Heaps.
And none of those 3 are Orlando's. So for our purposes, do any of them even touch Friday?
Directly, no. Macario's at Chelsea. Kerr's not in this league. Heaps is Portland. But it does sharpen the prep a little. If Orlando has anyone edging back toward full fitness, that changes the defensive picture we've been building all week.
Right. After the Seb Hines interview we just hit, I'm less worried about who's returning somewhere else, and more worried about who Orlando actually rolls out at BMO.
That's the read. The Banda McCutcheon front line is the thing you game plan for, not a headline about San Diego staying top of the table. Here's Melina Gaspar at All for 11.
The NWSL opened the 2027 free agency period, releasing the eligible players starting today, July 1. The players whose contracts end in 2026 or have a mutual option to extend their contracts can start negotiating. If both player and club reach an agreement and decide to exercise their rights to extend the contract, they must do so by December 31, 2026.
The 2027 free agent list dropped yesterday, and Sophia Wilson is the first name everybody's circling, with Portland already actively chasing an extension. Meanwhile, I'm scanning the whole thing for Angel City names before we kick off tonight.
The rules matter here. If a player's deal expires in 2026 or there's a mutual option, they can negotiate with any club as of July 1st, but that extension has to be locked by December 31st. So, for a young piece like Centnor, this list starts the clock more than it sets off an alarm today. Every name on it tells you something about how ACFC builds the roster she's part of.
Right, and that's why tonight matters even more. If Angel City wants to keep the pieces around Centnor locked past 2026, go win the game against the team holding the playoff spot you're chasing.
If you're following Angel City, you might also like World Cup Morning, a 2026 FIFA World Cup daily recap with results, standings, storylines, and the arguments you'll have all day. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts. What we're watching next. Angel City hosts Orlando Pride at BMO Stadium Friday night, July 3rd. And farther down the calendar, Players and clubs with mutual options have until December 31st, 2026, to decide whether to extend those contracts. We've put links to every story from today's episode in the show notes, if you want to dig into any of them. That's Angel City Daily Podcast for today. This is a Lantern Podcast.